Shalom, shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Baharakah Kadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And I want to play you a clip, bit of information that I came across that I find very interesting. And we got to be circumspect. The scripture says, be ye circumspect, not as fools, but as wise. You know, we know the prophecies. We know the prophecies are manifesting, so we're looking for the manifestation of those prophecies. Now, we know that there's a lot of disinformation out there. That's why, you know, me and the elder Ariala, we was looking at the situation, what was going on, you know, with the election and so forth, and there was a lot of information, but we perceived there was a lot of disinformation on both sides. So it was, you know, it was kind of unclear to see which way it was going to go. I mean, they could put Trump in, or they could put Biden in, or they could put neither of them in and just straight go to military rule. Okay, these are options that are on the table, but it's definitely looking like inauguration day and the events surrounding inauguration day is something that we got to keep a close eye on. Okay, because for all we know, that could be a major catalyst, a major event could occur on that day or around that day that speeds up these prophecies. You understand what I'm saying? And for you, those of you who you ain't got this, man, you better get this while you can, because the scripture say put not off. Don't put it off, man. Get this while you can, because you don't know. We're in the times where next week that could be the end of the ministry, so to speak. We don't know when the Lord decides enough is enough, and then these prophecies just start popping off fast. You understand? So yeah, get this while it's hot. This is Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. Okay, you want to seek the Lord before the time of Jacob's trouble is in full session. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So I want to play this clip right here I got from Mike Adams. Now, I've been listening to his daily updates, and I find that he's very balanced when it comes to deciphering the various information that's out there. You know, he has a very balanced way of deciphering through the information, and I just wanted to pull this bit of info out here, so because even he admits that there's a lot of agents and that on both sides that's sending out this info, and you know, so we ain't gonna get into all that, but let me play this clip.
Says law enforcement leaders, they've determined they'll need about 25,000 National Guard troops. The troops might be what are called shooters, which means they've got M4 rifles and they're ready to engage. That's about 15,000 shooters on the ground. 15,000. Remember, all of Afghanistan has only 3,000 U.S. troops.
So what he's talking about is leading up to this inauguration, they're actually militarizing Washington, D.C. on an unprecedented level, to the point where there's more military in D.C. than there is in the whole of Afghanistan. And they're calling up all kind of military artillery, which you wouldn't really use against rioters. So it could be something else going on, because the type of enforcements that they're bringing together, it ain't matching up with what they're saying is for. So let's check it out.
So U.S. News and World Report says the Defense Department officials are scrambling to call governors and asking whether they have any more National Guard troops they can send to Washington. A defense official familiar with the discussions says law enforcement leaders, they've determined they'll need about 25,000 National Guard troops, and they say that number could still grow. Okay, that's old news. It's already gone to 30,000. Defense and military leaders have said they understand that states are facing their own protests. This is in the run-up to Wednesday's inauguration of Joe Biden. Defense and law enforcement authorities have been revising the numbers as they go through rehearsals and other drills to determine how many and where they need the guard reinforcements to help lock down Washington. So half of that story is BS, right? Because you don't need 30,000 troops to deal with a couple of knucklehead protesters who show up. I mean, who's going to show up? The whole city's barricaded. It's 7-foot high fences with razor wire. It's concrete barricades lining the streets. Soldiers everywhere. Who the heck's going to show up where they need an air squadron and 50 plus striker vehicles? I mean, this is the official narrative is nonsense. So think about this buildup. I got this off a blog spot. On Tuesday, January 4th, it was National Guard will have 300 troops in D.C., but they will be unarmed and only for traffic control. By Wednesday evening of January 6th, it was 6,200 troops armed only with riot control gear. Thursday, that evolved into a fence around the Capitol, and the deployment will be for at least a month. On Friday, it was the troops might be armed. Then on Saturday, it became National Guard troops deploying to D.C. will come with lethal weapons. By Monday the 11th, the troop count was up to 15,000. Tuesday the 12th, they added the Stryker Brigade with M2 heavy machine guns. And then they added the concertina wire and concrete barricades. And then by yesterday, the troop strength was increased to up to 26,000. And this post says, the force is larger than an infantry division reinforced with a Stryker Brigade. On top of this, we know that troops have been mobilized in nearly every nation. There are 442,000 total members of the National Guard. In just 10 days, nearly 1 in 10 have been activated. This is in addition to the 10,000 or so police from across the country who are in D.C., and the troop numbers are increasing by the hour. Now, as all of that is going on, I was getting reports today that Patriot missile batteries are being positioned in Tennessee and North Georgia mountains. Patriot missile batteries are the batteries that fire ground-to-air missiles to knock out incoming missiles. Like, what's going on? Why is that in Tennessee? And North Georgia, what's going on? And I'm sure it's happening elsewhere. And then another source was telling me that there are these 40-foot containers from Costco, COSCO, which is the Communist Chinese.
Yeah, and it goes in, like, there's Chinese troop, World War is on the cards too, so there's all kind of things happening right now. And look, man, the thing is, we got to keep our eyes open, man. We got to keep our eyes open, our ears open, because we're in the crunch time. We're in the time when these prophecies are going to start popping off. And we told you, there's going to be more crises coming down the pipeline than some Rona, than the 1984. Okay, it's going to be a lot more. All right, and it's gonna bring all the things that we've been warning about: the time of Jacob's trouble, the martial law, the mark of the beast, World War III. All these things are gonna come down the pipeline in quick succession. Okay, and there's gonna be major events that's gonna catalyze all that. So I'm not saying everything's gonna happen on January 20th. I'm just saying, bear it in mind. All right, take heed and be mindful, man, and prepare your souls for anything to happen at any time. All right. Because we're in the time of Second Ezra, the 15th and 16th chapters, man. We right at the end of this thing. All right, we right at the end of this thing. All right. Yeah, Second Ezra 15, I'm going to get straight to the point. Verse 14, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Now that sound like the sword to me. All them military, you got tanks with tank units with 50 cals. Armored vehicle units, with 50 cals on there. They even got army engineering units that they're calling up, which basically fix things that get broken during war. So what the hell is going on? So, we got to keep our eyes and ears open in this regard. One people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. Now you see that talking about the National Guard getting called up and all this and that. Yo, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread. And that's another thing that's still coming down the pipeline: famine, and for great tribulation. Okay, so I just wanted to, keep a heads up, Arkham, this week. From tonight, be mindful of what's going on around you, where you are right now, because this week, you don't know what could pop off, man. The way these guys are going on, and with the information that's coming down the pipeline. And like I said, I'm not guaranteeing anything. Only the Lord can guarantee, but we got to be mindful in these times, man. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.